co-hosting a show? Because I know Shaq, definitely a colorful personality, a lot of layers to Shaq. He's not just off all games and jokes. There's multiple layers
Right.
to Shaq, which I really respect. But what other celebrity would you like to co-host any segment or any show with?
I've never thought about that. That's a great question. And that's something maybe I need to think about and add to the list of goals. Um, One thing I was supposed to do this summer, and obviously because of the global pandemic is not happening, DJ Jazzy Jeff, DJ Scratch, who two men who I admire greatly and are people that I've looked up to for a number of years. And not only do I look up to them, but now I can call them friends. I have conversations with them on the regular. I can text them, hey man, what's that? Just whatever. And that's crazy. So they did a tour together last summer. And we had been in discussion of like, okay, how about we set the stage before the tour? I interviewed the two of you guys and we put that out on social just kind of to blow it up. So those two off the top, that's who I can think of because that's something that was supposed to be happening this summer that, yeah, that's not going to happen right now just because of the situation that we're in globally. So those are two. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people in sports, so I can't really think of anybody offhand, but it would probably be more geared towards working in music or entertainment with somebody. And those are the first two names that come at it, mainly because I've been diving back into the DJ world lately since we have a lot of free time. So that's at the forefront of my mind. I probably also want to do something with my buddy Ed, myself, Ed Reed, who is a legend in his own right. That's a good friend of mine. Me, him, and Reggie Wayne had talked about doing a podcast. So that might be something that could possibly happen in the future.
Is there like any other theme behind that? Because they're both Florida guys, right? Florida natives. You're a Texas native.
Well, they're actually both Louisiana natives.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah. Yeah, Ed's from outside of New Orleans. Reggie's from Baton Rouge. So those are we just all have a connection just because the hurricanes. I'm a hurricane guy. I'm an honorary hurricane.
Okay.
So my cousin is Roscoe Parrish. People often confuse us for some reason. There's a slight resemblance, but not really. Our height and weight is about the same, but yeah, I'm a Kane guy through and through. So that's possibly something that could happen. We haven't talked about it lately, but once things get kind of back to normal, that's something that could happen as well.
Okay. Mr. Paris, not to hold you up, I got two final pieces for you. So I always used to try to, when I was younger and I was aiming for the stars. I was in the Marines at the time, and I kind of wanted to know what was next for me beyond the military. And some of the other Marines, we used to kind of gather around, and we used to have like campfire stories and share our dreams. So I always used to say, I want to be like Mansa Musa. Like, man, who was Mansa? Who? I'm like, Mansa Musa was the richest man that ever lived. He was the African Empire. You're like, what? Like, I never heard of Mansa Musa. I'm like, do your research. So you're a man of many talents. Who would RoParrish be if RoParrish lived like in the 15th or 14th century, hundreds of years ago? Who would RoParrish be?
Oh, wow. Man, you stumped me on that one. I've never even considered that going back in history. I hope whoever I would be back then, I would be someone who made change. Not to get too militant, maybe I would be Nat Turner. Just seeing the way my mind works. Had a conversation with a friend the other day just about slavery and how they, like we spoke about it earlier, how they pitted us against us, and But if you think about it, there were so many much more of us than there was of them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But again, like times were different. You know, you're brainwashed into thinking a certain thing. But there were a couple of few here and there that said, "Nah, like we about to get free. This is what we're about to do." So, um, hopefully, I would be that type of individual to say, "Listen, this ain't right, and we're about to do something about this. There's more of us than there's of them, and we're about to go handle our
Okay.
business."
You
Yeah.
have been a leader of men, you know, and in a way, you're a leader of men too, because you know a lot of young people of color, you know, you help them think outside the box. You know, playing pro ball, playing pro football, playing pro basketball, or you know, even taking you know the music route. You open up another lane. You may not have been the first to do it, but right now, you know, you're trending right now. You know, you're the person that's trending right now. A lot of young people are looking at you like, okay, I want to be like Ro Parrish. You know, I might not I might not have the ability to be on stage and converse with people, but I want to be like Ro Parrish to some degree. So, in a way, whether you want to or not, Ro, you are a leader of young men. So, you know, I'm just putting that out there, whether you knew it or not. You know?
No, I appreciate those words. And while I love Charles Barkley, I don't subscribe to the commercial he became famous for back in the 90s,
I'm
where
not a role
he
model.
famously said, you know, I'm not a role model. And that's tongue in cheek, just being funny. I love Chuck. Um, but I understand my position. I relish, I cherish the position that I'm in. I'm very thankful. And I understand that I have different sets of eyes on me. I'm very selective of, you know, what I do on social media, you know, the image that's out there, also what I do in private. So I want to set the right example and, you know, not put myself in a negative light to where people are saying, oh man, nah, he ain't what we thought he was. No, I want to live up to that. I understand I have a certain responsibility, you know, as a man of color that's on television in the position that I am, working with the people that I work with on the stage, on the national stage that I'm on. I understand fully the responsibility that I have.
And final question: what country would you like to visit one day when this whole COVID situation, you know, God willing, is over and done with?
I was supposed to go to South Africa for New Year's. I still haven't been. I would like to go to South Africa. I would also like to go to Australia. Those are two places that I haven't been, that I would love the opportunity to go to.
Beautiful, beautiful, Mr. Ro Parrish. As always, you know, hard to you know get guys of your stature, you know, on a show, especially a local youth podcast. I really appreciate this. Thank you for taking a moment out of your time, sir. Thank you so much.
Hey, not a problem. I definitely appreciate you for having me continue to push forward. And, you know, I wish you nothing but the best and a ton of success.
Thank you, Mr. Parrish. I'm gonna upload this episode, some pieces of it, on our Instagram page at Heavy Brand Inc. Thank you very much.
Respect, salute.
Sir, man, about to put you on the spot. Give me a playlist that could put us in the mood to commemorate everything that's going on right
Oh, man. That's tough. I mean, the first song I'm going to start with is um, Marvin Gaye,
now.
What's
What's going
Going On.
on?
That's definitely going to be on there. And it could be, there's so many songs to choose from. And that's a difficult question. It's not that you're putting me on the spot, but there's so many different songs I can think of. Um, I, the main though that I would focus on would be the Marvin Gaye record I just
It's
referenced.
timeless.
And another timeless record I would reference is Frankie Beverly and Mays, We Are One. Because at the end of the day, you can try to separate people by race, creed, gender, but we're all humans. And this goes back to Tommy Smith, human rights. We are all human. We
Yes.
are all one. We all look different. We do things different. That is what makes us great as human beings. But at the end of the day, we are one. And we all got to come together. To me, love is going to be the solution to a lot of these problems. The humanity, it it takes more energy to be evil than it does to, just to be happy and say, you know what, let me have a conversation with you. Let's sit down and talk as men or as women or whatever your gender. Just sit down and have an adult conversation and figure out a solution.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you brought up the love part. Especially amongst our youth. Like I work with youth for my regular 9 to 5. And there's a sentiment going on. Like there's a lot of anger, within the community amongst our youth. And I just want to remind the young people, not just the adults, but the young people that you know it's gonna be hard to get through all of this without love. You know, we're in a world where it's kind of hard to isolate yourself from other groups of people. It's not like the '70s, where you could literally spend like your whole life in one side of town where everybody looked like you. We're more out in the open. If you love someone to have love for them, it's gonna be hard to take somebody's life from them if you have a certain love for them. You know.
No question. No, no, I agree with you 1000%. And I feel that is a major part of the problem when you see